Live from the Hollywood Improv, it's the Nighttime Show. With us, as always, our head writer, Matt Walker. I'm the voice of the Nighttime Show, Mike Black. Our special guest, star of Days of Our Lives, Summer School, and the hot stepmom, Missy, in the Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure trilogy, Amy Stoch. And now a man who doesn't need a phone booth to travel through time. He does it with donuts. Stephen Kramer Glickman!
How do I do it with donuts, Mike? How do I even do that?
You go to a special place.
Okay.
You are powered by sprinkles.
Okay.
And all I know is you're gone for a few moments, and then you come back and you have a beard.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds like me.
Every time you have a donut, this happens. And you warn us about robots coming to take over the earth.
They're coming, I swear they're coming!
Why are you naked, Stephen? Nothing non-organic can go through.
Amy, it is such a pleasure to have you on the show. How's it going?
Why, thank you. It's going great. I'm so happy to be here.
This is so cool and so exciting. We're huge, big Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure fans and Bogus Journey fans, and are very, very excited about this new film. It's going to be amazing. What was how did you end up getting cast in the original film? Walk us through the audition process. Walk us through the magic.
Oh, the magic. Okay. Well, there's a lot of magic that actually happened in the all 6 times I went back for that little part. I had just been shot off of Days of Our Lives. They didn't want my character anymore, so they shot me off the show. And my agents, naturally, they started sending me out on auditions again. And I got a call for this little film called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I don't know that it was even called that at first. Maybe it was called something else. Can't remember. But so I went to this audition, and the audition scene was the watering scene where she's out in the garden and the phone booth drops behind her, and she meets all of the historical figures for the first time, which is one of my favorite scenes. But there's not a lot of dialogue in that scene, right? There's a lot of looks and a lot of reactions to, especially Bob Genghis Khan. I mean, come on. How can you not react to that?
Amazing.
So it was a tiny little scene. And I had fun in the audition, and then I got a call back, and then I got another call back, and I think, like I said, I went back about 6 times.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was a long audition process for me, even for that little part. But I think they were looking for something specific, and I don't know that I had all the parts to play the part in the beginning.
Sure.
Because every time I went back, there was another group of really beautiful, quite well-built young ladies, and I wasn't. I was very skinny as a young adult, and I don't really think I had the chest for the role to begin with, because there were a lot of jokes about looking down her shirt and stuff like that.
Right. I get this. Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't really have the equipment, shall we say? But it was. Every time I went back, I like to find something just a little different to do, even with the same material. You can't go too far off of what you've originally done, but you can tweak it a little bit. And in the writing of that scene, this is why Ed and Chris's writing is so brilliant. In the writing of that scene, there's the line with Bill. He says, "Hi, Missy," and then he corrects himself and goes, "I mean, Mom." So it was during the audition process that I went, well, there's got to be some sort of look from me that kind of admonishes him for calling me Missy instead of Mom. So I think that's where the look came from, in between "Hi, Missy," and then I give him the look, and it's, "Oh, I mean, Mom," which is just so wonderful. And yeah, so I got the call, got the part, and just had a riot. It was so much fun to shoot that first one.
That was so great. Yeah. Where was that shot?
We shot, my parts were in Phoenix, Arizona. We were all stationed there, and the mall was there, I think, and the Waterloo Park was there as well.
So Phoenix stood in for San Dimas.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That's so cool. How did you get started acting? How did this career begin?
Well, my mother told this story about me until the day she passed away. I was in 2nd grade, And I still remember this, and I don't know why, because I forget everything else in my life. But I was in second grade, and my teacher, Mrs. Jackson, we had career day. And on the board, she's listing all of these different jobs. And she's telling us, what do you want to be when you grow up? And for some reason, I remember two professions on that board. One was a nun, which was never going to happen for me.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other one was movie star. Mm-hmm. So I thought, okay. And I guess I went home that day from school and promptly announced to my mother that I was going to be a movie star. Mm-hmm. And I think that's when she started turning gray.
That's the most realistic career day I've ever heard of, that one.
Yeah.
Like when I was... it was so weird, but that's what I remember.
Yeah. Our career day when I was in junior high school, we had somebody from the Los Angeles Thunderbirds roller derby team come and was like, you could be a professional roller derby player. I was like, I don't think that's a thing. Like, I don't think you can. Really. I don't think so.
When I was in the second grade, or it was like third grade, somewhere in there, I was so bad at paying attention and bad at math and all sorts of stuff. And my mom got called in to the counselor at the school. Oh yeah, and he was like, listen, you need to get a tutor to help your son. Because he's not very good at math. And she was like, oh, no, like I want him to be amazing at it, and I want him to be good at this, and all this kind of stuff. And then he said, your son doesn't have to be good at math. He'll be able to hire someone to do that for him. Because he's very good at other things. So just realize that not everyone is great at everything. And I was like, I was able to pass, but I'm still very bad at math.
You could still use a tutor for math.
Oh, I could use a tutor any day of the week. Yeah. And this guy, Matt Walker, who's my co-host on the show, I call. Hi, Matt. Oh yes, I call Matt literally, Amy. I call Matt almost every day about the stupidest things that most people would have just figured out by now. I'm constantly in need.
Today, I had to teach him what the letters PO and QTY meant in an email where somebody wanted a PO from him for something he was ordering, and they wanted to know the QTY, and I was like, that means purchase order, and QTY stands for quantity.
Yeah, and he was like, blown, dude.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, you got to fill out all this paperwork now. And I was like, can you do it instead? And he was like, I can, but I'm not going to.
Yes,
you're gonna
I choose not to.
What are you gonna do?
So you were in a movie, speaking of school, called Summer School, which is a very fun one. I must have seen that movie a dozen times when I was in high school. Like, it was just one of those that was on all the time. So I was a big fan of that, and Mark Harmon's great, and Courtney Thorne-Smith, of course. And it's just a fun movie. So how did that one come about?
Same deal. But here's the thing with this one. When I was younger, it's okay. My mind is spinning because I'm trying to answer it three different ways. So here we go with just the most direct way. It's interesting to be looking back on my career now. When I was going through it, I never got interviewed about, tell us about the process. But now that I'm older, a lot of people ask me, and they want me to say the stories and how did you feel about this and that? Which is very interesting, because had I thought at that time that I was auditioning for one of the most iconic comics in the world that I grew up with on the Dick Van Dyke Show, I would have probably walked into that audition and just melted and not been able to say a word. So it's very interesting that back then, as a younger actress, I knew that was my job. And so I was able to, even though, Carl Reiner was one of my idols, comically, I just walked in and I did the job. And now I look back on it and go, wow, I actually not only auditioned for him, but I got the part from him, and then I got to be directed by him. So it's only now that it's all coming out, like it's truly awesome. So it's really incredible. And we were there, and it was a very exciting day. Lots of high school students as extras, and that great dog, Bo. He was such a great dog. And the scene we shot out in the parking lot was it was so much fun because Mark Harmon was just a lovely person to work with. He was a little nervous, I think, because this was his first comedy, his first major comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And Carl knew that, and he wanted to stay real close. So we're out in this parking lot, and the whole camera setup and everything is pretty far away. But Carl didn't want to be that far away in between takes. He wanted to be right there to be able to jump in and give a direction and jump back out. So there was this row of bushes off to the side, and he would give us direction and then yell action and jump into the bushes.
Oh my God.
And then as we were doing the scene and, cut or whatever, whenever he wanted to cut and give a direction, he'd jump back out. And then it was just...
It's like a peeping
Tom.
God.
It was so much fun because of the energy. And, just the joy that he had in directing. It was so infectious for all of us. So it was a real experience.
Oh my God. That is amazing. Yeah, I mean, what a legend to get to work for.
I know. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And then just to cap that story of not being nervous, as a younger actress walking in with auditioning for famous people, right? Yeah. There was this one audition I did for a Disneyland thing, and the director was Leonard Nimoy. And I'm sorry, guys, that was too much for me because, I walked, and on top of it all, it was all this like space techno speak that I just couldn't wrap my tongue around. I don't think I got even my name correct in that audition. By the time I left, we were all laughing at me. That's how bad that was.
Now, was that for something that was going to be at the park or for?
Yeah, I think it was for the old. What is it? Space. What is the space?
Mountain or?
Space Mountain. They were redoing all of the, how you're in the audience line waiting to get in, and they had all those videos playing to keep you. It was for one of those. It was for like a guide through that.
Wow, that's cool. I had no idea Leonard Nimoy was involved in that.
That's
it was pretty cool. Yeah, that was my worst failure story, but I laugh at it now. So
it's so funny. I got to meet Leonard Nimoy backstage at the Jewish Community Center in La Jolla, California.
Oh, wow.
Kind of accidentally walked backstage, walked into the green room.
Accidentally walked into the green room?
Well, I was like, I wonder what's in the green room. And I poked my head in, and then Leonard Nimoy was in the room. And I was like, oh, my God, I can't believe it. And we talked for like a few minutes. I don't really remember much of what was said aside from him just being nice.
Is that because security beat you afterwards and you lost remember the incident?
No, it just wasn't. He was very nice, but I don't remember there being much of anything. What I do remember, though, is meeting William Shatner and that being an absolute shit show. I mean, the worst.
It's the best story.
Because the best stories sometimes are from the most awkward or uncomfortable experiences.
Sure. Yeah, well, they certainly stand out, don't they?
Yeah, because, Stephen, when you met William Shatner, you were doing the show Big Time Rush at Paramount.
Sure.
Shatner was there on the lot. He came driving by in a golf cart, and you stopped him on the cart, right?
Yeah. I said, oh, my God, Mr. Shatner, I'm such a huge fan. We're actually shooting on your old soundstage right here. Would it be okay if it's just an honor to meet you. Like, would it be okay if we got a picture? And he said, meeting me is enough.
Oh my God!
Which is so much better.
So great, so great.
It's worth it for the story,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you had a picture of William Shatner, it would just be in your Facebook library somewhere, and nobody would care.
No one cares.
Yeah,
but that story lasts forever.
Better.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, a quick thing I want to talk about, Mike Black. I think this is something that we really should talk about, and it's a company that was founded in 1983 in Tokyo, Japan. Of course, I'm talking about the Zoom Corporation.
Zoom.
Now, if it wasn't for Zoom, and Matt knows this, we would not be able to do our show. They make the best audio equipment in the world. Which one are we using right now?
We're recording onto a Zoom LiveTrack L8 right now, and when we go do our live events at conventions and stuff, we often use the Zoom H6, and they're both just fantastic pieces of equipment. You plug your microphones in, you plug your headphones in, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, whether you're a classically trained pianist or a run-and-gun filmmaker or a podcaster like us.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do a ton of podcasts, and I can tell by listening when they're using a Zoom and when they're not.
Yeah,
It's the mark of excellence.
It really is. Go check it. Go check out all their stuff over at zoom-na.com. That's zoom-na.com. Be professional, for God's sake. zoom-na.com. I want to talk about a third-generation, family-run business that I am very proud to be working with. Sennheiser is the top tier microphone company in the world, and we are so lucky that we are now recording our show using Sennheiser microphones and their headphones. It's awesome.
We're talking into Sennheiser MD42 microphones and using Sennheiser HD25 headphones, and these sound amazing.
I mean, listen to Mike Black's voice.
Listen to the rich and sumptuous soundscape that comes out of my voice.
Oh.
Every time I speak into a Sennheiser.
Absolutely. Go check out their microphones and their sound equipment over at Sennheiser.com. All right. Okay, let's get back to the show. When you were in this, you're in there. You're doing the movies. You're doing Days of Our Lives, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're doing all this stuff. Did you ever have any sort of run-in as far as with any actors trying to sweep you off your feet, trying to steal you away into the night? Was that?
For what? For what purpose?
I don't know. Were you dating any folks that you ever met out there in this?
Very interesting. No, I didn't do that. I like to work with people, and it's a lot of fun. But I will tell you the one person that I did date, and here it is. It's Days of Our Lives. Okay. And remember, they were going to shoot me off the show. They had to hire an under 5 player to come and give me a couple of dirty phone calls, threatening me, and then hold the gun so that he shoots me and I die and all.
Of course.
So it's the big day, and here I didn't meet this guy, and it was Dry Block, and I heard his voice over the phone, and after Dry Block was through, I just went, all right, I got to meet my killer. Where is he? Mm-hmm. So he comes walking up, and here's this very handsome Italian-Irish guy coming up to me. We meet each other, very personal guy. And throughout the day, as we're rehearsing and stuff and shooting and dress rehearsal and all that, we talked just briefly and, throughout the day and stuff. Well, by the end of the day, Pamela Kosh, the woman playing Miss Peach at that time, she just watched us the whole day, no idea. She took me by the hand and walked me up to Bob to say goodbye, and she literally stood in between us and said, "You need to get her phone number." And
Whoa!
And so we're like, "Oh, okay." So we exchanged phone numbers, and he asked me out that night for dinner. And about a year later, we were married, and we were married for 17 years.
Wow!
Oh, so there's that.
That's a nice story.
Most successful relationship in the history of Hollywood.
Yeah, right there.
No. We were not married anymore, but...
Still, 17 years. That's really the longest Hollywood's ever seen.
That's a long time.
It was, and we have a wonderful son together, and he is a member of the Letterman. He has been for 25 years or something like that. So, that was the one and only person I seriously dated off of any of the work. So.
The new Bill and Ted movie comes out very soon. Mm-hmm. You're one of the only... It's like you and... two other people that are in all three, right? I mean, you and Keanu, and then
and Hal Landon Jr.
And when did you find out that this movie was going to be made? Because they've talked about it for years and years and years, and people were like, "Hey, it would be great if they made it." And I mean, were you always just hoping you get a call someday, or how did this one come to be?
Yeah, no, gosh. Oh, all three of these movies have they're like Cinderella stories in how they were made and how they were released. This one, I started hearing inklings of a third one way back 6 years ago. I used to teach when I was in Illinois doing my doctoral program. I taught at a community college, and I taught film and film history. And I started hearing from my students, hey, they might be making a third one. And at that point, I was so ingrained in my program, I just, okay, yeah, that'd be great someday. And I was so disconnected from Hollywood at that point. I was not in touch with anybody. Mm-hmm. And then, so I moved back here about 6 years ago, and again, some inklings and whatever, but it really was, I think about 3 years ago, I went down to Comic-Con down in Anaheim for Boom Studios to sign autographs for their Bill and Ted comic book series, which was fantastic, by the way. So it was fun. I'd never been to a Comic-Con before. It was great. And Scott Kroof was there, the original producer for all of these.
Oh, wow.
And, oh, my God, we hadn't seen each other in, 30 years. We're hugging. He says, you look like you've never changed. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. So we spent the whole day, laughing and having some fun. Brian Lynch was there. He was also signing autographs. And then at some point, Scott leans over to me and he whispers in my ear. He said, by the way, there is a third one and you're in it. And I just went through the roof. I could not. Oh, I was so excited. That is the first official, we do have one, and guess what? You were in it, and I flew through the roof.
And how do you keep that secret? Because, you can't tell anybody, right?
No, you really can't spread it around at that point, although as soon as I could, I went up to the lobby, and I called my son, and I was just like, oh, buddy, I was just so excited.
Yeah.
Wow.
But, yeah, and then after that, it's still 3 years later, and we're finally doing it. So when I actually got the official call, I don't know if you guys remember last year, last springtime, there was this little blip on Twitter and Facebook of Keanu and Alex at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, of course.
Filming something surreptitiously because they weren't allowed to be in there, announcing the fact that, we're going to shoot a movie. And that was the first time I saw that clip. And that was the first time I was like, oh, they're actually going to shoot it this summer. I hadn't heard anything.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of bummed out. I was like, oh, wow, maybe they changed their mind, whatever. The next day, I get this phone, it was an email from Scott Kroof. He's like, I must have your old phone number or something because I've been trying to get a hold of you all day. I went, yeah! So I emailed him back and said, here's my phone number. And he called me, and that's when he told me that we were definitely doing it and that, get ready because here it comes. So,
wow.
Yeah,
amazing.
that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
God.
And then this one, you did film in San Dimas, part of it, right?
This one? No,
Yeah.
we were in Nolens.
Oh, really? Okay.
Really?
We were in Nolens, during hurricane weather. Oh, that's what shut it down for the first week last year was a hurricane, actually.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, no, we were in New Orleans. It was hotter than snot, and of course, but just so incredible to be in that amazing city with all that history, and it was just wonderful. It was beautiful.
Well, I'd love to ask you just a little bit.
Have you seen it, the new one?
No, I have not seen it.
I've seen the trailer. Trailer looks
Trailer's great,
yeah.
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 I've seen the trailers, but that's it.
I want to take a walk through the cast of this movie, of the original, a little bit, and just because we don't know the cast really of the new one. That's they're still keeping it a little under wraps. So I wanted to ask you just a little bit about this, and you let me know if you met them, on set, or if you didn't meet them. Either way, it's interesting to know. Let's start with George Carlin. Did you ever run into him, or at the premiere, or in any way, shape, or form?
No, and he's another one of my comic. I'm such a fan. Ever since the 7 words you can't say on television. No, I never got to meet him. I never got to work with him. We were always on different shooting schedules, and I don't remember him at either of the wrap parties. So, no, and that's always been a sore spot for me.
It's okay, but you did get to meet some of the characters from the past that were brought into the.
Oh, sure. You mean on Excellent Adventure?
Yeah, on Excellent Adventure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had them all in my station wagon.
Yeah. So let's Napoleon, played by Terry Camarelli. Camarelli. Yeah. What was Terry like?
Very nice, very funny, and just. And that scene where he's in the station wagon alone with me and he kind of sneaks his arm around. Oh God, it was so creepy, but he played it so well. He was just a doll. It was a lot of fun. And Dan Shore,
of course.
Billy the Kid.
Yeah,
Dan
Billy
Shore
the
was
Kid.
a nice guy. Just really fun. Lots of fun to work with.
There was Al, who played
Al Leong.
Yeah, Al Leong. Yeah, legendary guy. He was Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
What was he like?
Bob Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan. Again, I didn't spend a lot of time with people because only on set and shooting and stuff like that. But the people we worked with, I don't remember anyone being a problem or not fun to work with. A lot of us were just kind of starting out, and that includes Keanu and Alex and me and Dan and other people having a lot more work, and Jane Whelan, of course, from the Go-Go's, I think?
Of course,
the Go-Go's.
Yeah.
So it was, but nobody felt like they were better than anybody else. We were all there shooting this little film that was so innocent and so sweet, and we were so excited to do it that just the energy on the days that I worked and the things we did together was so much fun. When they all came out of the phone booth and I'm meeting them for the first time as characters, they each had a little quirk and a little reaction to me, and we played. And that's, boy, if you can say that about your castmates, we played together. And we had fun.
Come
you
on.
know?
And, I mean, God, Alex Winter, so cool.
Yeah.
What a great
He
guy.
rocks that crop top, man. Let me tell you.
It's so funny with someone like Alex Winter because, like, I loved Alex Winter. When I was a kid, I remember him being so funny and so cool in those movies. And then seeing him come back for this one, I was like, yeah, man, that's what it's all about. That's great.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Keanu. You got to talk. I mean, what a sweetheart.
Love Keanu. Love both of those guys. They're so nice. And you know what makes it so much fun? Again, I keep saying fun and nice, but it was. But what's cool and what they have been talking a lot about in their interviews for our upcoming film is they got to be friends through the audition process. I mean, I went back 6 times. They auditioned off and on for like 6 months.
Wow.
And it was, sometimes different people, and they're starting to pull out these old audition clips and putting them on social media. I've never seen those before. It's really cool. But see, they got to be friends, and they're still friends, very good friends.
I love it.
And that just invaded all 3 of our films. On my, I don't know if you want to segue into this yet, but I can tell you on my first day of shooting for this new one, for Face the Music, I was very lucky because the camera wasn't on me. It was on the 2 guys. So after being away for 32 years from this part and from everybody, and then, so I was a little apprehensive coming back to it. But for the whole first couple of hours, I got to watch them work together, and I got to watch that friendship come through again. And so as I'm watching off camera, I can react to what they're saying. I could practice a little. After like 2 or 3 takes, I was like, oh, there they are. There's Alex and Keanu. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. So,
yeah. Oh, that's so wonderful.
It's just like riding a bike. It was, and the guys are the ones who are the leaders in all of that, and they do it without even knowing they are. They're just effortless in the joy they bring to the parts. So that was cool. That was a neat way to start.
I can't wait to see it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I hope
really
so.
Great. Well, we adore you, and we really appreciate you coming to do the show.
My pleasure.
How can people find you? Do you have any social media stuff, any of that stuff?
Yes, I am on Twitter, and I'm also on Instagram. I don't do Facebook anymore, even though I still have a couple of I have my business page up, but I really don't do Facebook anymore. So I am really on Twitter.
Love it.
And we, Ed and Alex, and we're just having a blast on Twitter with all of this stuff. And it's cool because sometimes I'll see a fan thread and they're talking about stuff, and I'll just jump in there and go, oh, yeah, I remember that. And then they freak out, which is kind of fun.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
But yeah, that's what I do. I enjoy the Twitter and Instagram for the photos and stuff like that, so they can find me on there.
I love it. Matt, where can people find you?
I've got links to everything at funnymatt.com, or if you're upset by me in any way, let me know at mattwalkersucks.com.
People do. People do.
I've got some new content put on there.
Oh, yeah.
People got mad at me on Twitter yesterday. That's fine.
What did they get mad at
Maybe
you?
I need an Amy Stoch.
There were
Yeah.
LA Charger fans. All 2 of them got mad at me because I made a joke about how the Chargers announced they're not going to have any fans at their games this year, which I said finally gives them a home field advantage because what they've been known for is that the stadiums are packed with other teams' fans.
Right.
So then they got mad at me saying that. And,
That's pretty funny.
Well, you gotta watch out for
So it's
football fans. You know,
I'm a Raider fan. I'm not
Browns
scared. I'll
here.
stab him. That's fine.
No, okay.
Oh God.
Hey, I'm a Browns fan. I've been through it all.
Oh, you
Okay.
just you've been a lifetime of misery is what you've had.
Wow.
Exactly. Hey, we had Burnham Bernie for a while there, and my heart soared.
Yep.
Okay. So, I'm just saying.
Oh, love it. I love it. You can always get me at Stephen Glickman, STPHEN Glickman, on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Don't forget to subscribe to the Nighttime Show podcast. Amy, you are wonderful. Thank you so much for doing the show.
Thank you. Oh,
Thank
you
you,
guys
Amy.
are great. Thank you.
And everybody that is listening to this, please make sure to check out Bill and Ted Face the Music. It opens in theaters on VOD this Friday, August 28th. So
betcha.
check it out. Thanks again, Amy. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Be excellent to each other. Bye.
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 Stand up in front of a fireball. Stephen Glickman about to rock us all. Nighttime show is why we all are here. Sit back, shut up, grab yourself a beer. Robbie is so funny, Matt Walker is the best. Laughs, Dusty, and Choke, then they're on the gas. Nighttime show. The fucking Nighttime show. Nighttime show. The Nighttime show. Nighttime
So are we going to do any sort of talking to say like, all right, let's go talk to Amy? You going to give me anything, or we cut right to an interview with her?
Well, no, I'll just start the interview.
I think
I'm
you
gonna
guys
start.
should do this. Do it. Just leave this in there.
All right. I think I will. All right. Bye.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
All right, give me just one quick second. We had our announcer do the intro already, so we're gonna just jump right in. All right, here we go.
All righty.